Hey guys, so as y'all know, I'm Hunter, and I'm gonna be telling y'all about ways that we can fix the invasive species that's in our waterways. As of today, the fish that are in here is the snakeheads and Asian carps. Asian carps, they're sitting there, they're overpopulating way too much, and they're sitting there ruining the environment for our game fish. And by that, when they're doing that, our game fish is not having the big opportunity that they need and the room that they need to sit there and spawn. So ways that you can get rid of them is you can run barrel nets, you can run gill nets, or you could also have them for sport shooting with the bow, as we did today. And the best part is about doing it with the bow, you can go out with buddies, have fun. Doing it with gill nets and just regular barrel nets, it takes more time. You leave it for a while and then you come back and you may have more numbers than what you do shooting with a bow. So as of right here, this spot is way overpopulated with carps and everything. Yesterday I came out here by myself and I shot 12. Me and my cousin came back out here a while before I came out here yesterday and we shot 14. So that's just numbers saying, hey, like, these fish are way too overpopulated. Something needs to happen. And if you just sit there and throw chemicals in the water, it's not only going to kill those fish that you're trying to get rid of, it's going to also kill your good fish, your game fish that you're trying to keep and catch, that you want to cook, that tastes better. So the really only thing that you can really do is barrel nets, gill nets, shooting them, and that's probably the best ideas and the easiest ones to be able to do it. Out of all this water out here, just in this area that you can see, just today, we have probably seen way over 50,000 fish just in today. And that is talking a lot, too many fish.
What's that doing here?
You know, littering is a bad part too. We already got a lot of water pollution. Right, so what's your name?
My name is Richard Gray.
What kind of game warden are you?
I'm a federal game warden working for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm stationed at Dale Bumpers, White River National Wildlife Refuge in St. Charles.
How long have you been a game warden?
I've been a game warden for about 30 years.
What's the problem with the invasive fish now?
Well, in Arkansas, there's several invasive fish. I guess what we need to first understand is what exactly is an invasive species of fish. It's a fish that's not indigenous to the ecosystem that we have here in Arkansas, so they can be an import from another country or just from outside of the United States. But the three main species we have here now are the big head carp, which is considered an Asian carp. There's a silver carp, and people know those as the jumping carp that everybody likes to shoot with a bow and arrow. And then the snakehead fish is the most recent of the invasive species that we have.
What are they hurting?
Depending on what type of invasive fish you're talking about, the silver carp and the big head carp are both plankton eaters, and they basically survive off of plankton and phytoplankton. And the plankton that's in the water also feeds other species of fish that our native fish require to survive on. So the silver carp and big head carp are basically eating the phytoplankton that supplies food for several minnow species, as well as gizzard shad and threadfin shad, which are the two primary food sources for most of the game fish in Arkansas. So those two invasive species are directly impacting game fish forage, where the snakehead fish is actually a predator fish that feeds on other fish, so it's actually eating other game fish. So it's not just, it's kind of at the top of the food chain, where the silver carp and the big head carp are affecting the lower parts of the food chain, which eventually filter all the way up to your game fish.
How can we try and fix the problem that we have?
That is a very hard question to answer, because once the invasive species are released into the wild, there is no corralling those species. They're free to travel wherever the waterways take them. And during flood events, they may go from one drainage system to another where they weren't able to go prior to a flood event. But controlling them is almost impossible at this point. You know, people can do their part about taking the larger of the fish out. Those are the most prolific in the reproduction. They have the most eggs with each spawn, but you know, they can do that through, you know, using archery tackle to kill them. Whichever means is legal to take the fish is perfectly okay. I mean, would that be a hook net or a gill net or whatever you choose? But there is no market for any of these fish right now, so there's not a economic incentive to try to limit the numbers of those fish. And even if there was a market, it would just be for the fish that are of a larger size, and the small fry actually compete more and cause more damage to the ecosystem than the larger fish do, because there's so many more of them.
Take off your best, give him some slack. That's good.